Hi guys, my name is Tanya and today I have a very strange book haul for you. Not that I've actually talked about it, but I've given up buying books for Lent. So how did I manage to acquire a large amount of books? I didn't buy them. So I'm 25 years old and I've been in a situation where my friends have started moving away before when I was 18 and I stayed home for a year because I had to have an operation on my foot and I didn't know if I'd be able to walk in time for uni, so I took a gap year. And yeah, all of my friends moved away. And now that I'm 25, this cycle's kind of beginning again in that my friends are moving away to find better jobs and to settle down and do all sorts of adult sounding things. And one of my friends has just moved away for a new job and her girlfriend decided that they were going to hold a party to get rid of their stuff. So me and some of my other friends came round and basically looted their house. As it turns out that me and my friends have a few things in common. The first is that we are all massive literature nerds and the second is that we are all vultures. So I have quite a lot of books here, so I'm just gonna get going. So first up I have a couple of pretty hefty books. One of my friends is an English student, so she was getting rid of some more academic books, including this A to Z of women's literature, which I think is about 20 years out of date now, but it's still gonna provide me with some good information about some older female authors who I might be interested in. And I also have the 5th edition of the Norton Anthology of Poetry. I often have ideas for projects that would work with poetry and wouldn't work without poetry, and I like to read it from physical books, so by the time I've gotten myself to the library and found a suitable book, half the time I've forgotten what the idea was anyway. So I thought it would be handy just to have a big old anthology of poetry in my room so that I can pick it up and find poems a lot more quickly. I then have a couple of non-fiction books, the first of which is The Private World of Daphne du Maurier by Martin Shallcross. I really enjoy Daphne du Maurier's books. I'm gradually making my way through them, so I thought it would be really cool to get to know a little bit more about who she was in real life. And then something completely different, which is The Cute Book by Aranzi Aronzo. This is just this adorable little book with teeny patterns that you can make in felt to share with your friends. And it turns out that before I went over to my friend's house, Abby had been saying, oh, I think we should put this one aside for Tanya, I think Tanya would like this one, and I picked it up of my own accord anyway, so good friends are good. And I will definitely be making some of these in the near future. The friends that donated me this giant stack of books also happened to be the friends that recommended I read Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill, which happened to be one of my favourite books of last year. And now I have a chance to read O'Neill's other book, which is Asking for It. This is set in a small town in Ireland and we follow Emma O'Donovan, who's a confident and beautiful 18-year-old, and trace the after effects of what happens when she is raped one night at a party. As with Only Ever Yours, O'Neill's books are not nice reads, but they are important reads. Like most of my friends, I have a fondness for Neil Gaiman, but I haven't read enough of his books, so consequently I've added The Graveyard Book and Neverwhere to my TBR. I then have two 2016 releases, the first of which is Orange Boy by Patrice Lawrence. This follows Marlon, a 16-year-old boy who's promised his widowed mum that he won't end up like his brother, who is a gang leader, but he ends up drawn back into this world after one night a date goes terribly wrong, and he consequently ends up a hunted man. I was really drawn to the colours on the cover of this and also on the inside, and it is very different from my normal sort of read, but I need to step out of my comfort zone more, so this book. I then picked up Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. This follows Charlotte, who is 17 and has already lost more people than most will in their lifetime. Her father, her best friend, in some way her mother, and I don't know a lot about this book, but from what I've looked up it's a book about loss and hope, with trigger warnings for sexual abuse, self-harm and drug use. Both of these sound a lot heavier than the sort of contemporaries that I normally pick up, but every now and then it's good to read something a bit different. My final two books also come as a pair, the first of which is Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys. This is a tiny little book that I could never justify buying because it's a classic, people always charge a stupid amount for it, and it tells the story of what happened before Jane Eyre, so how Mr. Rochester met his first wife. And my final book is this beautiful copy of Jane Eyre. I've never owned my own copy of Jane Eyre. The first time I read it I got it out of the library and I do now have it on my Kindle, but it's not the same as having this book in its physical form. I also don't think I would have bought this book in real life because I'm pretty sure it's leather bound, which is obviously something that I don't really buy. But it has these gorgeous quotes from the book on the covers. And my favourite bit about this book, I remember my friend bringing it home because she was also really excited about this, is that the inside of the book is actually printed upside down, so the page numbers are at the top, and if you flip it over to the back, that is where you start your book. And I just can't help imagine lending that to someone and finding them incredibly perplexed by it. So yeah, these were the books that I took from my friend's house. I sound like such a bad person, but they were just gonna go to the charity shop anyway, and I'm gonna try and read them. I just have to find somewhere to put them now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what the weirdest situation you've picked up books in has been. I hope that you're all having a lovely, lovely day, and I will see you all again very soon. Goodbye! This has that really good old book smell that's kind of also like Christmas.